July 17, 1983, a typical summer Friday. The sun shines across Canada, children play in backyards, and at Montreal-Trudeau International Airport, Air Canada Flight 143 is preparing for a routine domestic journey, Ottawa to Edmonton, with a stopover in Winnipeg. On board are 61 passengers and 8 crew members. No one suspects that, within a few hours, this flight will become one of the most astonishing survival stories in aviation history, a tale where, on the very edge of the possible, a human being surpassed the machine, where knowledge, intuition, and composure prove stronger than the law of gravity. This story isn't just about a crash that never happened. It's a parable about attention, about how a tiny error can unravel an entire system, and how one person, armed not only with a license but with inner awareness, can become the bridge between chaos and hope. Chapter morning, fueling, and a mistake by the milliliter. It all began with the metric system. Canada had only recently transitioned from the imperial system of measurement to the metric system. Engineers and technicians, accustomed to thinking in pounds and gallons, now had to operate in kilograms and liters. This wasn't just a technical shift, it was a complete rewiring of an entire generation's mindset. The Boeing 767-200 was Air Canada's newest aircraft, freshly introduced into the fleet. It had no analog fuel gauges, only a digital system. But on that day, due to a faulty fuel quantity indicator, the refueling calculation had to be done manually. The technician calculated that 22,300 kilograms of fuel were needed for the flight to Winnipeg and onward. However, he accidentally used the conversion formula for pounds instead of kilograms. As a result, only 22,300 pounds, equivalent to 10,128 kilograms, less than half the required amount, were pumped into the tanks. Captain Robert Pearson, a 48-year-old aviation veteran with 15,000 flight hours, knew nothing of this. He trusted the system, as did everyone else. The aircraft taxied onto the runway with a quiet engine hum. Passengers joked, read newspapers, and thought about meetings and errands. No one knew that inside the fuselage lay emptiness. The fuel was draining faster than it should. And the silence that was about to descend would not be in the cockpit, but in the hearts of those flying above the clouds. Chapter the silence that shouldn't be at 41,000 feet over northern Manitoba, the Boeing 767 suddenly ceased to be an airplane. First, a warning chime sounded, soft, almost courteous. Then one engine flamed out. 60 seconds later, the second followed. The cockpit lit up with a red message. Fuel pressure, low. We're out of fuel? Asked First Officer Maurice Quintal, staring at the displays. That's impossible.